So I'm going to show you an NP300 I'm driving. I'm going to run the entire clip and then talk through what's happening. This is a failed hill climb. Okay, I'll run that again from the start. So this is a steeper hill than it looks on the video as usual. It's a little bit muddy, a bit wet there, and we're coming up now. It's always a good idea to keep in the rut, so that's what I'm doing there. You can see just in front of the Navara now that there's a couple of ruts there, and that's going to cause the suspension to flex and the vehicle to lose a bit of momentum. Now, one of the things you want to do when you're coming up a hill is to keep in the same gear. So you'd normally select second or third or maybe fourth low, and the Navara's got a pretty decent pulley engine, so I'd want third low. Unfortunately, the gearbox does not allow you to select a specific gear, and it will just change up or down regardless of what you do with the manual override, which is really annoying. You can actually see that or hear that in the video, because you'll hear the engine note change. I'm trying to keep a constant speed of it, but it's going from first, second, third, just pretty much doing whatever it feels like doing. So up it comes, and there you go. You can see particularly about sort of around about here-ish, then you can see the suspension's flexed, front right wheel, rear left wheel is starting to spin, but that's controlled nicely by the traction control, so you can actually drive slower with the traction control on than you could if you had purely open diffs, which is good. So go a bit further. There again, the same sort of thing. This time the weight is off the front left and the rear right wheel, so traction control is nicely controlling that for us as well, which is good. Now, when you're driving with traction control, what you don't want to do is come to a complete halt and rev it out. There's sort of a balance between, if you are slowing down, you can increase the revs, and that will help you move forwards. So as ever, there's a balance between going so fast you've got momentum, you don't, traction control never really kicks in, but then you bounce around a lot, or going slow and let that traction control help you up. So it's kind of a balance there. Now, coming up to the hill, and you can see that the hill is smooth rock. The tyres are muddy, it's cold, it's not going to be a lot of grip, so not overly surprising that the vehicle didn't make it up first time. And again, the gear change up at that hill didn't help. I'd have liked to have kept second low all the way up, as opposed to third. Actually, I was supposed to go back to second, but the vehicle wasn't having it. Now, what you've seen there is that it's lost traction, and the nose has skewed round to the right, which is never ideal. But again, that's expected. So that's because the rock cambers to the right. That's quite normal. So basically, you just got to give up. Now, if you're going to sit there spinning the wheels, all you're going to do is skew the vehicle more to the left or the right in this case here, so you're just going to give up and come back early. But I was anticipating it wasn't going to make up the hill at that speed before I went up, but again, we're testing the vehicle here, not in any form of race, so there's no need to throw the vehicle at the hill first up. So the first thing is put your foot on the brake, and then after I got my foot on the brake, I've actually used left foot braking here, then holding the vehicle with my foot on the left brake, shift it into reverse, and then release the brake pressure, increase the revs, and bring the vehicle back down like so. You can see the brake lights on all the way there, and bringing it down. Now I'm going to bring the vehicle down to a point where it is flat, and I have got all four wheels on the ground, and that's this point here. So all four wheels on the ground, I've got a bit of a run up there, so because I know I need more momentum to get up this hill. I don't want to back down over this ledge, because then I just have to come up it again. So the vehicle's relatively flat here, and all four wheels are pretty much on the ground, so I can actually get a run up. Now to help that, what I'm going to do is again hold my left foot on the brake, and I hear the engine revs come up, so I'm going to, because turbo diesel was a bit slow off the line, hold the vehicle with the left foot on the brakes, bring the revs up. That gives a bit of power there, and off you go. Now the advantage of that technique is that it gives you a decent acceleration straight off the line, allows you to get momentum up. However, you run the risk of wheel spin if the traction isn't there to allow you to do that. I'd like to do that in second gear from a standing start, second gear low, but again in Navara it won't let me do that. I have to do it in first gear, which is not ideal. It actually changes up into second gear as I go up the hill, yeah, so it still works. Let's see how that works. So listen for the engine revs to come up whilst the vehicle's stationary, then we'd launch to go up the hill just enough, and then look where you want the car to go, and then just turn the steering wheel in that place. You see the car slide a bit, which is normal. There's just not a lot of traction, it's off camber, then up we go. So there's the revs up. Just get the power in, a little bit of opposite lock, and up we go. And that's your failed hill climb right there. So again, it's just looking at the track going, yep, okay, may not make that up, didn't make it up, not surprised, let's just back it down. Already had a plan to do that, and in that technique there we'll just use a bit more momentum, left foot on the brake coming down, and then hold it on the accelerator, up you go. And yeah, just how to do a failed hill climb in an automatic Navara.